Hey everybody, welcome back to Cool Stuff Etc. My name is Riley and today we're going through this stack of CDs, metal goodness, all the D's and E's in my collection as the fourth part of the metal CD collection series here on the channel. As you can see, it's missing a good chunk from these upper shelves, so why don't we just jump right into it. First off, we got Certified Classic Transylvanian Hunger by Dark Throne. As the third black metal album from this band, fourth album overall, this is a pretty big change in style and how they write songs. The first two albums had a lot of, as Fenris calls it, I don't know a word for that, but that's what he calls it. So he demonstrates it at least. This album, not so much. It's more hypnotic. It's more repetitive. Very simplistic in terms of what's going on musically. On the back here, they say primitive guitar riffs over a monotonous drum beat, which I think is accurate, but I feel like monotonous has a bad connotation because this album is actually very good. And it was my first Dark Throne album, and I think it was a good choice. I want to get more of their albums on CD. I just have not found them in the wild. Next up, we have, this band is called Dark Woods, My Betrothed. Kind of a mouthful of a band name. The album is Angel of Carnage Unleashed. I just found this one day, surfing the shelves at Dearborn Music. And the artwork was really cool. And it said it was kind of on Metal Archives, kind of a more melodic black metal. And I don't know, I guess I wouldn't say it's more melodic necessarily, but to me it's reminiscent of like Anthems to the Welcome at Dusk, but with a bit more like, not as like avant-garde as that album, and certainly not as rawly produced. This is modern production, So it definitely sounds like a modern album, but they're kind of doing the symphonic thing with some of the clean vocals that Emperor did. The guy kind of like shouting in the background like, so there's that. So it's pretty good. I need to give it some more listens before I can firmly cement an opinion about it. Getting into my death albums. First off, we got Scream Bloody Gore. This is one of the albums that started it all for me. I have a video about that. It's actually the most popular on the channel, not to brag. But Scream Bloody Gore was, one of the very first ever death metal albums to come out, to ever be released. And I'm not going to show the second disc because I don't want to break. Actually, I can do this. Oh god, okay. Oh my god, that's why I want to do it. So yeah, they're one of the first death metal bands, and so this has a lot of similarities musically to thrash, but it's definitely its own thing. It's definitely a new way of making metal. And, can't go wrong. It's a classic for a reason. And they followed it up with another classic, Leprosy. Kind of just taking what they did on this first album, maybe I would say making it a bit more, I don't want to say technical, but a bit more riffy. Like, to my recollection, the riffs on the first album are more so tremolo picking and, nothing crazy necessarily. Although I guess I shouldn't say that because some songs do have like some good lead guitar, but essentially this is just taking what they did in the first album and stepping it up a little bit. I think I do prefer this to Scream Bloody Gore. I mean, it has one of my favorite death songs on it, Pull the Plug, so can't go wrong with that. Followed by Spiritual Healing. This is kind of the beginning of their transition to a progressive death metal band. So, death metal that's kind of influenced by progressive rock, or I guess kind of take some cues from that genre. So yeah, they're doing like a lot longer songs, more different parts, and more complicated rhythms and riffs and whatnot. And just it's a good album. It's not one that I always reach for when I listen to death, so I haven't listened to it in quite a bit, but I do remember some great tracks on here. Within the Mind is also one of my favorite death songs, so. Then Human, which is almost certainly my favorite death album. This is when they go full blown progressive death metal, but they definitely don't sacrifice any of the heaviness, or it's still identifiably a death metal album. It's not like a later career Opeth where they're kind of just progressive rock with some death metal or some metal shades in there. This is undeniably a death metal record with progressive leanings, I would say. And I mean, just so many bangers on here. You can't go wrong with any of these songs. Flattening of Emotion, Suicide Machine, Secret Face, and of course, Lack of Comprehension. How could I forget that? If you're going to start anywhere with death or with metal in general, I think this is probably one of the best places to start. Honestly, I think that it's amazing. Individual Thought Patterns by Death, their follow-up to Human. Arguably my least favorite of their albums. Nothing on this album particularly jumps out at me as anything super original or intriguing. The Philosopher is a good song, but other than that, I guess I need to give it a few more listens and kind of go from there. But nothing crazy about that. I don't know where the sleeve is for this. I thought I had a sleeve version, but maybe not. That's all the Death I have. I don't have Symbolic or Sound of Perseverance, but I want to get them, so hopefully I'll find them. I'm sure they have plenty of copies to give away. Deceased, as the Weird travel on. Deceased are likely one of my favorite metal bands that I haven't listened to a whole ton of albums from. I've really only listened to this album and Fearless Undead Machines, but I love them both dearly. I think that their blend of not just death metal and thrash metal, but also like traditional heavy metal is just so unique. I don't think there's another death metal band that sounds like them. At least I have not heard of that band. And just the way they write songs it is like no other band is doing it like this. So give this a listen. I don't know if this is the best place to start. I did start here, and I will say that I did like fall in love with them from this album, but I don't know if it's necessarily the best place to start. Although to be fair, their early albums aren't super easy to get into considering some of the song lengths. But regardless, Deicide, self-titled, probably of the old school death metal bands, probably the most vicious sounding. If I had to pick someone, pick a band to be the most vicious, just like this. The drumming on these songs and the way they're produced is like enough to just like make your head spin. It really blew me away when I first listened to it, and I had already been listening to death metal for quite a while when I first listened to Deicide. So it was quite mind-boggling. And Legion is a wonderful follow-up to that. I think I prefer the self-titled, but this is not a slacker either. They kind of just repeated themselves. I guess that's kind of the main gripe I would have. But Deicide on a okay day is better than a lot of bands on a great day. So Legion, good get album. The cover is cool. This font is kind of lame. I don't think it really fits. But okay, we have now Departure Chandelier, Antichrist Rise to Power is in a cracked jewel case. It came to me that way. I don't gripe about that too much, but I could replace it if I needed to. But this is, as it says on the back cover, a Napoleonic War black metal band. So it is black metal that is lyrically, it may be a little bit sonically, musically influenced by the Napoleonic War, that era of world history. And yeah, I would say it's pretty melodic, not like too many blast beats or anything, kind of mid-tempo for the most part. And it has synth over top of it, which is the melodic part, but the guitar riffs too are very well written. In the same vein as the Transylvanian Hunger, it's very repetitive, very hypnotic, I would say, but probably a bit more musical than that album is. I recommend it. I enjoy this band a lot. I just listened to this artist's other project. I think it's called oh, I can't remember the name, but it just came out. It's like I think it's like Atlas of Dungeons is the name of the record, but I can't remember the band name. But that was very good too. And so I want to get that on the CD soon because that is a cool album too. Okay, Dillinger Escape Plan, Calculating Infinity. This is the debut album from the mathcore, if you want to call it that, band Dillinger Escape Plan. If you've not heard this, it's one of those very skronky, very chuggy metalcore bands. And the reason it's mathy is that it uses, odd time signatures, very, very, very strange rhythmic patterns on the breakdowns and the guitar playing and the drumming as well. The vocalist on this one is different than all their other albums. This guy left the band after this album, but he was a competent vocalist. His vocals and his lyrics are very memorable, very emotional, a lot of screaming. No singing on this album really at all, I think, because that would come with the new vocalist. But yeah, this band definitely goes in a more melodic direction later on, but I don't know if I showed you the inside. I definitely enjoy this album for what it is, though I think I do lean more toward liking Dillinger later on, such as my favorite of theirs, Miss Machine. I've almost certainly listened to this album like 24 times plus in like the 3 years that I've known about it. Excuse me. Ooh, actually probably more than 3 years now. But yeah, it's, like I said, it is more melodic. There's actually like choruses that you sing along with on some of these songs. But I mean, you'd be hard pressed to say that it goes totally melodic. It does not do away with any of the heaviness or the craziness, chaos that Dillinger Escape Plan does so well. So give this a listen. This is a phenomenal album. I saw online somewhere that people really don't like that album for some reason. They kind of consider it like a transitional phase to their later era, which I disagree with. Even though albums like One of Us is the Killer, which I believe was the next album after this, or maybe not, I don't remember. This is all I have of Dillinger. But albums like this are definitely more melodic and they definitely feel more cohesive than Miss Machine. But I think that this album is just not quite as good as Miss Machine in terms of the songwriting. There's a lot of great songs on here. When I Lost My Bet, of course, the opener, Prancer. One of Us is the Killer, the title track. It has a great chorus on it. But like all the rest of the songs are kind of, I could kind of go either way with them. So I'm not like insane about this album, but I think it is good. Oh, it's a big old thing in there just fell out. I think this album is good. Is it a sticker? Oh, yeah, it is a sticker. I never knew it was in there. Yeah, this album is great to some people, but it's just okay to me. But maybe I'm wrong. Not likely though. So yeah, One of Us is the Killer. That's Dillinger. Need to get some more of their albums. I hope you hear my stomach scrumbling. I'm hungry. Dragon Force, Inhuman Rampage. Yes, this is the album with Through the Fire and Flames. Yes, I know about this band from Guitar Hero. I wasn't into metal when I was 7 years old, so, sue me. But this album is actually, I think I need to get into more power metal because I actually really enjoy this album. There's like too many good songs on here to name them all, but obviously Through Fire and Flames, Operation Garden Pound, Cry for Eternity, Storming the Burning Fields too. That's a good one. I got this for my birthday when I was really young because my parents, probably my dad specifically, knew that I was like playing Guitar Hero and whatever, and was like really into this song, so they got me this and I still have it. So this is some nostalgic value to it, but I need to listen to this again because it's been a long time. All right, Drawn and Quartered, To Kill is Human. This is some very vicious, old school sounding death metal. Actually, this might be just actually old school. I don't remember when this was released. It does not say on here, but yeah, it's really vicious sounding. The drums are off the charts speed wise most of the time, and but I would say that there are some like memorable riffs. You know, it's very crunchy production. The vocals are characteristically brutal as you would have, and guttural as you would expect. Yeah, To Kill Is Human. Jordan Quartered are a band that I want to listen to more because I do really enjoy their style. One thing I just noticed is that it says below the barcode, not to be sold outside EU. Hope I'm not violating any international laws there. I also have Feeding Hell's Furnace from Drawn and Quartered. This is a much later album in their career. I believe from around 2011, I want to say. So the production's a bit better, as you would expect. I don't know why I'm getting this out for this album in particular, but I am. Yeah, production's a bit better, as you would expect, but pretty much the same like ethos that they've had their whole career. So yeah, another good album from the boys and Drawn and Quartered. Dungeon Serpent, World of Sorrows. I believe I heard of this from Brain Smasher, if you're not familiar, which I would be surprised if you're not, if you're watching this video, who is like kind of like a metal historian. So I trust his opinion on a lot of things, but I don't have time to listen to as much music as he does, unfortunately. But I did check out this album based on his recommendation. I believe it was his recommendation. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he wasn't wrong. This is a pretty awesome melodic death metal album. You know, there's some. It's only got 4 or 5 songs really on it, but they are all well written. They are, as you would expect, very melodic. It's one person doing all the writing and the playing. So all the vocals, all the guitars, everything. I need to give it a few more spins before I finally like cement something on an opinion on this record. But I like what I hear so far. Whew. Okay, getting close to the end, to the finish line. I was gonna say, Dying Fetus reigns supreme. A very well-known brutal death metal. Maybe I don't know if you consider them slam or not. Yeah, just they are great songwriters. Very technical at times, other times just very dumb and like knuckle dragging riffs. So I like that combination. I mean, you have really great songs on here like Subjected to a Beating and Revisionist Past, From Womb to Waste. Those are all great songs. Yeah, Dying Fetus, can't go wrong with this album, that's for sure. And you also likely can't go wrong with I believe their latest album, unless they've released something since that I'm not aware of, but this is Wrong One to Fuck With, which is an incredible album title. This was, I don't know, I think this is my introduction to them. I'm pretty sure I actually found out about this band from Fantano, so thanks about that, Antoine. Yeah, this is another, I mean, they're not reinventing the wheel, they're not doing anything different really, they're just writing cool songs that you can headbang to. So and the title track is awesome. Wrong One to Fuck With is such a banger. All right, In the Nightside Eclipse from Emperor, another classic. Can't go wrong with this album unless you're the drummer, which you can go very wrong if you're the drummer of this band. But we're not gonna get into that. Anyways, yeah, I mean, this is a very, very classic album for a reason. I believe it was the first black metal album that I ever listened to, even before like a Death Heaven or something. You know, when I was like getting into the genre, Death Heaven was like one of those bands. But I think I listened to this even before that, and I remember just being totally blown away by the artwork, by the songwriting, by the epic scope and feel that they were producing, the proficiency of their instruments, the way that they harmonize, their riffing, and just the chords and stuff they use in general were so unique to my ears at the time, and I think this album undeniably still holds up. You should give it a listen, even if you're not a metalhead. Encoffinized, Chambers of Deprivation. Don't know much to say about this. It is just very heavy, sort of like grindy death metal. From, I believe, from Maggot Stomp, yeah. Haven't listened to this one too much. I kind of bought it one Bandcamp Friday when it was on sale, along with a couple other albums from whatever record label I was perusing. But I did buy it because I heard good things about it. The cover art is awesome. If I can get this closer, move this stick. Oh my god, don't fall over. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna do that. The cover art's awesome. The logo is really cool. God, the glare. Okay. Anyways, you get the idea. You can look it up yourself if you want to, but yeah, this band, I mean, it's, again, this is one of those bands that they're not trying to do anything new. They're just writing music because they love it, and that's very admirable. And you should give it a listen. Maybe you like it. The song Funeral is probably my favorite, I would say. All right, another classic, Entombed, Left Hand Path. I mean, that title track is amazing. Left Hand Path is just, oh my god. This whole album really, I mean, back to back to back to back to back to back. Everything on here is just incredible. You have songs like Morbid Devourment, Supposed to Rot, Revel in Flesh, Drowned, Carnal Leftovers, all those songs. I need to give this a listen again because, oh my god, it's just so good. And it's fun because Left Hand Path interpolates the, I was going to say Suspiria, but it's not Suspiria. The Phantasm score, the main theme from Phantasm, which I had not seen that movie when I had listened to this album. But now that I know that, it's cool. Okay, moving this stack over so I have some space over on this side of the frame to show you Clandestine by Entombed, their second album. I have not listened to any of their later stuff when they get kind of death and rolly. I probably should, but I just have not gotten around to it. Yeah, Clandestine is really, I mean, it's really what you would expect from a sophomore album from an old school death metal band. They're not, changing too much from what they did on the previous album, but they're just writing some more good songs with fun riffs and yeah, just a good vibe overall. So Clandestine is worth a listen to after you hear Left Hand Path. Entrapment, Through Realms Unseen. This is I would say a melodic-ish death metal band from the Netherlands. They definitely play in the same style as like an Entombed, where it's the Swedish death metal, where it's more melodic, but not quite like an At the Gates or something. So I still would categorize them maybe as melodic death metal, but that's beside the point. Yeah, they write really, from what I remember, really catchy tunes, good riffs that stick in your head. Give it a shot. I would say that you probably enjoy it if you're into death metal. And finally, we have Extremity with Coffin Birth. This is the final album from this band. I also enjoy I don't know if it's considered a mini LP or an EP, but the other release they have, Extremely Fucking Dead. Yeah, just a great modern death metal band doing old school revival. This album is sort of witch themed, so I don't know if this is necessarily a story being told, but it is all centered around witches and like this demon child being born from a witch that was buried, as you would expect from the title, Coffin Birth. And yeah, just some great moments on here. It's been a minute since I put this on, but I should give it a spin pretty soon. All right, and that'll be it. That's everything from the D's and the E's of my collection. I hope you enjoyed. I will try and do the next part sooner rather than later. But, who knows? I get busy or motivated to do other things and make videos, so we'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching the whole thing. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked any of these albums, let me know in the comments. If there's albums I should listen to that are from some of these bands, also let me know, because I'm always looking for recommendations and such. And yeah, that'll be it. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time, and have a nice day.